Good evening and welcome to our July 28th, 2015 Ogden City Council meeting. Let the roll call reflect that all council members are present with the exceptions of Councilmember Wicks and Councilmember Gochner, who have both asked to be excused tonight. We will turn the time to Vice Chair White for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Step up to the mic, please. All right.
Want me to face that way? Oh, okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you. And if you would now please join us for a moment of silence. Thank you. Next item on our agenda are some recognitions. The first is concerning the Washington Heights Church. We've asked Councilmember Garner if he would present this one for us.
Thank you. This truly is an honor for me to present this today, honoring the Washington Heights Church for its outstanding service and contributions to the City of Ogden. Whereas each year the Washington Heights Church selects a community service mission to complete, the church has completed many missions in countries throughout the world, including several service projects in the Ogden community. And whereas in 2009, 2010, and 2012, the church completed extensive local service projects. These projects included housing improvements in the East Central area, painting 5 hydrants and making significant aesthetic and structural improvements to the Ogden Pioneer Stadium. In 2014, the church also participated in the city's 100 Days of Cleanup in preparation for more than 500,000 visitors during the summer. And whereas throughout the week of June 22nd, the Washington Heights Church focused its 2015 service mission on the Ron Clair neighborhood. Efforts included more than 700 volunteers who provided more than 9,000 hours of service. The initiative included painting, siding replacement, yard cleanup and beautification, concrete repair, roofing, and various other improvements to 34 homes. The group also painted the exterior of James Madison Elementary School. And whereas the Washington Heights Church worked closely with the city's Community Development Division to identify projects, meet with homeowners, and develop the scope of work. The church donated approximately $25,000 of supplies, and the city's public service department provided 10 loads of mulch. Volunteers sacrificed their time, and many even took time off from work to be part of this incredible effort. And whereas the contributions provided by the Washington Heights Church were outstanding, the countless hours of work and generous contributions provided have been exceptionally beneficial to the Ogden City residents and have left a lasting impression. Now therefore be it resolved that the Ogden City Council and Mayor Michael P. Caldwell proudly recognize the Washington Heights Church for its dedication to address community needs. We express our sincere appreciation to the church leaders, volunteers, and city staff for their involvement in this momentous effort. So it's my honor today to propose that we adopt this recognition and Joint Resolution 2015-20, recognizing the significant efforts of the Washington Heights Church.
I second it.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Garner, seconded by Councilmember Stevens to adopt Joint Resolution 2015-20. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that's great.
We'd also like to get a picture and maybe have you say a few words.
These red shirts are very impressive. We need to get a little sea of them up in here really quick.
Congratulations. Thank you.
So much for all you do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, why don't you guys be making your way up?
We want a big group picture.
There is a big room.
I'll try my best.
Oh,
So the shorter one's in front, you know, like the littlest one.
And I'll email them to you as well, Jimmy.
I know, those are. I know, I went by James Madison one day, and the next day it's like, whoa.
I'll make sure to email these to Jimmy so that you'll have access as well. I don't know if you want to be in there. Oh, no. Oh, okay.
Okay, you guys are going to probably have to come in a little more over this way.
Everyone squeeze together. I know.
Eyes open.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Everyone look at me.
You need to get her
Wait,
a
I
video.
have one more. Sorry.
Bless you. That was good.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Just as a personal note, I live in that area, and was kind of wondering what was going on with all the porta potties that you guys had put up in the area. And
We think of everything.
and then the next day, the place was like ants with red shirts. It was really great. It was very touching. Thank you so much for it.
It's an exciting project to be a part of, and of course, I'm just a very small piece in it. And so, you know, I just thank each one of you for the opportunity to be able to serve our community. I think it's dearing to us because we've turned the wheel so well overseas that in 2009 we said, what about our own backyard? And so what we do now is we rotate every other year. One year we go overseas, next year we do our local. So we take all the money that we would invest overseas and we put it right into our community, which this year was actually about $40,000. And so we love it though. We absolutely love it. And so for us, you know, this project has helped our church in massive ways to connect with our city, to connect with our community, and to connect with each other when we do these things. And my tendency is I create a lot of chaos and then I need about 780 people to clean it up because that's just my personality. But really, I think for me, the biggest heroes a part of this every year is not what I organize or stand behind or what I do. It's really the people who take vacation. The 780 people, to me, are the biggest heroes because it could not happen without this. All those volunteers and leaders. So thank you so much for your recognition, and I appreciate it. I really appreciate Sean. Where's Sean? With Ogden City, you put him on loan for us. I appreciate that. He has to sit around in a car, you know, for months and listen to me, and I know he's just excited when the project's over because then he's done with me for a little bit. He is very gracious to us, and he's a phenomenal contact for us within the city and the whole community development department too. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. We salute your efforts, and it's a big benefit to Ogden City, and it's a good example for all of us. Thank you so much.
We love it. Next year we're looking at Marshall White Center.
Great.
Investing in it. So yeah.
Thank you.
That's what we do. Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. You can stay around for the other meeting, you know.
Looks like they were a few short here tonight. I don't know what we would have done if that had 780 show up here, but
Thank you.
appreciate this gathering tonight. Next item on our agenda is a proposed joint resolution saluting Mike Hardy. So we've asked Councilmember Blair if he would address this one for us.
Gladly. Thank you. This is Joint Resolution 2015-21, honoring Mike Hardy, WSU All-American athlete, for his successful collegiate running career. It reads, whereas Weber State University distance runner Mike Hardy wrapped up his collegiate running career with a phenomenal showing during his second trip to the NCAA Track and Field Championships. He finished 5th in the 3,000-meter steeplechase finals and earned first-team All-American honors. And whereas Mike attended Morgan High School, where he earned 4 varsity letters in track and field and 3 letters in football. During his senior year, he finished 3rd in both the 1,600 and 3,200-meter races in the Utah Class 3A Boys Outdoor Track and Field Championships. Mike submitted his impressive times to local schools and accepted an offer from Weber State. And whereas Mike's career at Weber State came with many accolades, he earned conference honors at the 2011 Big Sky Championships and won the 2012 Big Sky Outdoor Track Championship in the 3,000-meter steeplechase. In 2013, Mike finished 4th at the Big Sky Indoor Track Meet in the mile run and 6th in the 3,000-meter run. He also earned conference honors in the 3,000-meter steeplechase, finishing 2nd, and placed 8th in both the 1,500 and the 5,000-meter runs. In 2014, Mike placed 8th in the 3,000-meter run at the Big Sky Indoor Championships. And whereas, during Mike's final year at Weber State, he won his 2nd Big Sky Championship in the steeplechase and earned all conference honors in the 5,000-meter race. He ran the 10th fastest steeplechase in school history at the Peyton Jordan Invitational and achieved his personal best time in the 10,000 meters at the UNLV Spring Classic. At the NCAA Mountain Region Cross Country Championships, Mike placed 36th and earned all conference honors. He was named Big Sky Runner of the Week on September 10th, 2014. Whereas Mike's hard work and dedication has also extended into the classroom. He excelled in his electronics engineering program at Weber State and secured an engineering internship at Hill Air Force Base, where he was offered a full-time employment after graduation. Now therefore be it resolved that the Ogden City Council and Mayor Michael P. Caldwell proudly recognize Mike Hardy for his many successes as a distance runner for Weber State University. We appreciate his remarkable efforts in representing the Ogden community and are confident he will be successful throughout his life. We wish him our best in all his future endeavors. Go Wildcats.
Great, great, great.
That's right. And with that, I will proudly make a motion that we adopt Joint Resolution 2015-21.
I second it.
I have a motion by Councilmember Blair, seconded by Councilmember Stevens, to adopt Resolution 2015-21. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes.
Mike is here.
Are we timing?
Yeah.
Did you bring your folks with you?
Yes, they
Have them come with you. Have them come on up.
Thanks, Mike.
Didn't you just qualify for something? Nationals or the last race? Am I crazy? Or trials or something?
I could have done the U.S. Championships, but I work and
Step on up.
I don't believe.
Yeah, awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Congratulations. It's nice to meet you.
Thank you. This is my way.
It's nice to meet you too. Yes.
I'll shake your hand. We're going to
Got to make the whole rounds.
It's nice to meet you.
Dad?
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Okay, now let's do a group shot. So,
This is a little bit smaller group.
a little easier to do.
Mr. Chair, we've got some others if they won't show us in the picture.
Do you have other family members?
Yeah, sure.
Coach?
Let's have everybody come up.
And Grandma and
My
Grandpa?
goodness, yeah.
We've got plenty of room.
Yeah.
Come on up, Coach.
You saw what we did before. We have room. He didn't get here by himself. He had a little help.
Amy, do you want him, is this good? Do you want him north this?
Don't move.
You can move a little bit, just don't.
Okay.
Stand. If I can get this group close. Perfect. Okay, Councilmember White. Perfect. One, two. Perfect. Thank you.
Congratulations.
I would love you to say something, please.
So, as mentioned, I definitely couldn't have done this on my own. My coaches and wife and parents and family were always behind me, encouraging me, and in fact, when it came to school, it's a lot of times hard to balance studying and athletics. And one of the things my coaches always said is your number one priority was school, and they didn't just say that, they followed through with it too, because with my degree there's a lot of labs and a lot of extra time needed to put in, and they always worked it around their schedule as well. And in fact, my junior year I didn't make it to the NCAAs. I took 4th in my heat, and I had to take 3rd, and I was off by like a couple tenths of a second. And I was talking to my coach after, and he said that if I like hurdled a little bit better, I hurdled my last few barriers a little bit better, I probably could have made it. And and it's kind of hard to make all the steeple stretches and workouts after practice because of class. And so one of the things I did was I made my own hurdle, and I started doing drills and things on my own. And I think that was one of the things that paid off most, was just having better form, and with my coaches critiquing things and stuff and training hard, I was able to come through my last year with a fairly well season. So
extremely well.
Yeah, we congratulate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
It's nice to know that he has picked a career and stayed in the Ogden area. So.
Okay. Next item on our agenda is approval of the minutes. The first is concerning the joint study session and regular meeting of April 28th, 2015. Councilmember Stevens?
Yes, Chair, they're correct.
And then of the work session and closed executive session of April 28th, 2015, and the work session of May 21st, 2015. Vice Chair White?
Yes, Chair Heyer, I've reviewed those, and they are correct.
And then the study session and regular meeting of May 5th, 2015. Councilmember Garner.
Yes, Chair. I have reviewed those minutes and found them to be correct.
And finally, the work session of May 28th, 2015, the joint study session of June 2nd, 2015, and special meeting of June 9th, 2015. Councilmember Blair.
Yes, thank you. I have reviewed those and found them to be accurate, and I would make a motion that we adopt the minutes.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Blair, seconded by Councilmember Garner to approve the minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Next item is our common consent portion of our agenda. 2 items, both annexations. So do we have a motion?
Chair Heyer, I'll make a motion that we adopt proposed ordinance 2015-36 and 2015-37 as common consent.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Garner, second by Councilmember Blair to adopt or accept the petition for proposed ordinance 2015-36 and 2015-37. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Next item is new business, transit system locally preferred alternative. We're going to hear from Mr. Cook on this one.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the council. As you're aware, this is the opportunity for you to consider a joint resolution. So this is with Mayor Caldwell and the council to consider a locally preferred alternative for the transit system that's been under study for quite some time now. This is a culmination of a lot of work on by many, and just want to recognize those who are are here that are part of the Technical Advisory Committee and Policy Committee, and thank you for your efforts. Had incredible consultants, and had Hal Johnson and Jim McNulty from UTA, and then actually the entire UTA team was quite incredible. They brought their A-team for sure, and we appreciate that very much, so that we could bring this proposal to you. As you're aware, there is a proposed locally preferred alternative with a route and a mode. I believe you're aware of the route, which is generally known as the 25th Street Harrison alignment, which then goes to Weber State University and then to McCady Hospital. The proposed mode is bus rapid transit. And there's been quite a bit of dialogue amongst council members the last few days about streetcar versus bus rapid transit. And as proposed by the Technical Advisory Committee and the Policy Committee, bus rapid transit was viewed as the affordable option. It truly was a lot of good information, both for either of the modes, frankly, and actually both of the routes that were proposed. But when it came down to it, it's viewed that this route and mode are affordable and doable. There was some discussion at the last meeting. Had several citizens mention the questions around zoning. So we have met with the administration and with representatives from UTA to talk about that. The proposed strategy is to hire a consultant that will help us find the best mix of zoning options. We realize that zoning may vary and probably will vary along the route. And given the current workload of existing city staff, also the ability to focus on this with the timing that is before us, that it's viewed that a consultant would be best for proceeding. So that the hope for timeline is to submit for federal funding in January, February timeline. The idea with the consultant would be that we would be under contract and moving forward, so that could be included then as part of our application. There would be a technical advisory committee and also a steering committee with regard to the zoning options as well. That's the overview of the proposal. I believe we do have some members of the policy committee that would like to address the council at this time. So, Mr. Chair, if that's okay?
Sure, that'd be great. I assume that we will have, do you know who's lined up for that?
I believe Weber State University representatives are, if you're interested, could go first, and then McCady Hospital. I think we were aware that you were interested in speaking. You don't have to. You did last time.
President Wyatt at the last planning meeting, I think, expressed the university's interest in this project and appreciation for the work that's been done and support for the locally preferred alternative as it is proposed at this time. Just really briefly, my perspective, I'm Norm Tarbox. I'm the Vice President for Administrative Services. And this is the fourth study that I've been involved in with UTA and Ogden City to try and push this project forward. And so personally, I'm as tickled as I think anybody could be that we're to this point. And the university administration shares the excitement of the city and UTA to be to this point, and we hope to be able to bring a solid transit project to the city of Ogden.
Thank you.
If there's anyone else, We have representatives from UTA here as well. I don't know if you want to make any comments, you're welcome to.
Hal Johnson with UTA. We really appreciate being able to work with the technical and the policy team to get to this point in the project. I think we heard some controversy about BRT versus streetcar, and I think Norm mentioned the we need to move forward with doing a project. I think looking at BRT versus streetcar, there's a bigger upside with the streetcar, but it's going to be very, very hard to obtain in the local and the federal funding climate that we're in. And so moving forward with the BRT project today, I think sets the groundwork for doing more projects in the future, and potentially, if we were able to be successful on 25th Street, we could convert that to a streetcar project at some point in the future when the market ripens and changes and maybe the federal funding climate improves. And so I think looking at the recommendation, moving forward today, I think sets some stones across the river so we can continue to progress and move forward, and eventually this can evolve into something different and more as the community changes and evolves as well. So we're really excited to be here tonight, and happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions for Hal?
Hal, no questions, but I think you're the one that said this, that this was one of the projects that's been studied, had public input, more probably than any other project you've done in the state, yep. Correct?
Yeah, this is the high water mark for public involvement. So,
can you review just briefly? I know funding is always an important element of any project. Can you just briefly examine what funding is out there and how we will go ahead to secure these resources?
Yeah, there's on the federal side, there's a few different programs. The primary source to fund these kind of projects is what's called 5309 New Starts, and it's the ongoing capital program that FTA funds. And so that's our most likely source on the federal side. New Starts, they'll fund up to 50%. So we've seen some projects get more, but 50% we want to plan for a realistic threshold. So 50% funding on the capital side from New Starts. And then there's smaller pieces of money through the CMAQ STP process, which is a competitive grant funding process that's administered by Wasatch Front Regional Council, and those are federal funds that flow through UDOT. So we could potentially compete for some smaller pieces of those funds. The tricky part in funding these kind of projects is the capital, or is the operations, rather, ongoing operations. And so that's one thing the 25th Street route has going for it, is we're able to recapitalize on our 603 service that we're providing now. And so that's a potential, helps offset some of the operating costs. And then in 2006, I believe, the citizens of Weber County passed the third quarter in sales tax for transportation projects, and the intent with the third quarter is that could be used for both roads and transit projects. So third quarter is a potential source for both helping pay the match on the capital as well as the operating. So those are kind of the likely sources of money. We've seen other smaller pieces that have come into projects where they'll sell, station naming rights, and they'll sell those kind of things, but those generate smaller, very small amounts of money. So those are kind of the big picture amounts of money. We've seen some projects where they've gotten a special state appropriation, a one-time fund from the legislature. So we've seen some of those kinds of things happen. So those are the possibilities, the big likely possibilities. And a lot of projects are going forward where they're able to, we're putting together 4 or 5 different funding sources, some bigger, some smaller, in order to put a project like this together.
And is this going to happen, 2016 then, going forward then?
The funding, I guess what happens with what the council does is once you approve, we go to Wasatch Front, they will also adopt, and then we go to the UTA board for final adoption of the LPA. And then while we're doing that, we'll be working to finish and develop the environmental document and our New Starts criteria. That's what we submit to FTA for their consideration. And what this does is, by completing the document, this part of the process, it gives us, and I apologize, I don't have a better term, but it gives us a hunting license to go seek funds. It's not a guarantee. So when you buy a tag, you don't get a guarantee, I'm going to get a bird or a deer, but you have an opportunity to go work to get that prize. And so that's what, completing this step of the process gives us the opportunity, our hunting or fishing license, to go work to get the project funded.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been a real pleasure working with you so far on this.
As we've looked through the packet, there was 9 pages of background on this going back to 2004. So this has been going on for a long time.
Yeah.
Very intensely the last few years. We appreciate your help in guiding us through this and helping us with this process. Thank you.
Good.
So if you have other questions, I'm happy to address those. I know you do have statements from the 2 council members that could not be here tonight.
We do. We got a statement from Councilmember Gochner, and I'm having some mail blues, so Vice Chair White will read that one from her.
So she wanted to add her vote of support and in reaching this transit milestone. It sounds like many of you have worked countless hours on this. She also wanted to celebrate the route, in that the 25th Street route celebrates the richness, diversity, and vibrancy of our community. And she just wanted to thank everyone for, and the process actually, for picking that route. And lastly, she wanted to do a big thank you to all the partners who have patiently hung in there through many long meetings to support Ogden in this quest. And so she just thanks you all for hanging in there with us.
And Councilmember Wicks also made a statement. I'll just read it as she wrote it. It says, "I love the concept of a streetcar in Ogden. The permanency of the route ties to our past and support from the community. Transit and transportation sales tax revenue is distributed through Weber Area Council of Governments. I have concerns about level of support within this body for funding a project beyond the projected costs for the BRT system. Ogden City simply does not have the funding to make up the difference in cost between BRT and a streetcar system. It's a matter of moving forward with something and taking steps to ensure it has the most positive impact on the community as it can, or doing nothing. Zoning to promote transit-oriented development is long overdue and should be a priority. This will help boost investment in the surrounding neighborhood and ensure that high expectations and clear path for the future are established." So those were the comments from our council members that are not present, and maybe we'll give a minute to those who are.
I do have a question for Bill Cook. In our emails, there had been a suggestion that we table this. What an impact would that have on the project that we're looking at the present time?
So if you do table per your council norms, you table to a date certain, and then you also identify the information that is needed that would be presented at the following meeting. So that, and you have to have 2 council members that are willing to table, and then 4 affirmative votes. That's your process. From a scheduling standpoint, you do not have meetings the next 2 weeks. The next meeting after that is August. Sorry.
Is that what it is? 18th?
Is August 18th. So that, from a scheduling standpoint, regarding the project, it puts you back at least 3 weeks from what's been proposed within the schedule. Certainly, you would need to justify why, given all of the information that's been presented and the unanimous proposal from the Technical Advisory Committee and the Policy Committee that have studied this for several years now. So if you're missing information, it would be good to know what.
Any other comments or questions? Okay. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion that we adopt Joint Resolution 2015-24.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion by Vice Chair White and seconded by Councilmember Blair to adopt the Joint Resolution 2015-24. This is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Blair?
Aye.
Councilmember Garner?
Aye.
Councilmember Stevens?
No.
Vice Chair White?
Aye.
Chair Heyer?
Aye. That passes 4-1. And would you like to make a statement, Councilmember Stevens?
Thank you. I do appreciate all the work that has been done on this, and there's been many hours of projects. I know the value of BRT, and I accept the corridor that we're looking at, and I do approve of the corridor. I just hope that we could have looked at a streetcar. I use that as a possibility of economic investment in our community and the impact that it has in other communities. I know it's an expensive project, but by the time we get around to maybe funding this type of a project, maybe the funds would be there to accept that. But this is so important to us that we do this project correctly. And I accept and follow, approve what my council members have done, and I support what they have done. I just wish we could look at streetcar, but that's not the case. And so I accept the BRT at this particular time.
All right, thank you.
And Hal and others have, and many citizens have also stressed the importance of maybe in the future having the streetcar. And 25th Street was so vital to this project. I think if the route would have been differently, that really would have affected some of this. But also, we've had many citizens that have talked about it, and some of the council members who aren't here also mentioned this, but this mode of transportation and public transportation is just not an end-all. We really, and that's what other citizens have said too, that we really need to focus on our zoning, and that needs to be a priority for us as council members to modify the zoning. I know Brandon Bell and Dan Schroeder also mentioned the importance of changing the zoning as important for this economic development along this route, and many others have joined in on that. And as Councilmember Wicks mentioned with her statement, this is quite expensive, and we have to be responsible and try to do this the best we can and develop pearls that have been mentioned in the past along this path, and really, make this a reality after so many years. So I appreciate all the hard work that's been done and many years of service, and also all the citizens who have provided great feedback. As was mentioned by UTA, it's been a landmark of a new benchmark or watermark, I think it was his words, of public participation. So I know this is not exactly the highest we wanted, but it is something that is really needed in this community, and I look forward to seeing that come true.
Thank you. Any other comments before we move on? Okay.
Mr. Chair, in our study session, I failed to make one suggestion, and that is we have public comments after the closed session. Might want to move them to this point so that those who wish to speak would not have to wait.
That would be well.
Need a motion to do that.
Can we get a motion to move public comments up?
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Garner, seconded by Vice Chair White to move the public comment portion ahead of the closed executive session, item 8. All in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Okay, we will now open public comments. This is an opportunity to address the council regarding your concerns or ideas. Please state your name and address for the record and limit your comments to 3 minutes.
Hey, Travis Pate, 2546 Jefferson. Many of you know my comments. Basically, I'd compliment the hard work that's been done, but I with echo the thoughts of Councilmember Stevens, which said that the streetcar, and council staff several weeks ago said there is no hard evidence that BRT and a streetcar get switched. There's not a national evidence to that. So then, and as just mentioned in the session just before this, that there's not, and the engineering is specifically designed for BRT from here forward, not for how we can convert it also. So if there is a possibility to say how much more is it to have the engineering while you're already on this corridor, you're walking down the street, you're testing the soils, you're doing all these other things, I would say let's just ask if it's $10,000. I will pay. I promise. I'll pay for that out of my own pocket. At least $10,000 towards it. That's how much I believe in the streetcar. And if the engineering can be done at the same time, the same thing as I said, this could have been a second agenda item. The streetcar could have been one option with this 25th Street corridor and the bus rapid transit as another option, just as we've done with countless items within the city. Here's option A, here's option B. They're both before you. Do we have a motion? And I'm terribly disappointed that, yes, it's tabled, but, our next scheduled meeting isn't for 2 weeks, but every time we look at something new, it says special meeting, special meeting. We could have had a special meeting next week, simply. Here, we'll do a special meeting, here's the agenda item. It doesn't, it's 3 weeks out. No, it could have been next week. And so I feel like I said, the frustration that I have for the return on investment alone that UTA presented, yes, we accomplished the zoning, we brought that forward, but we have not brought forward the public comment which showed favor for the streetcar, even though it's negated now in the ordinance. Oh, either or. No, it wasn't. It was positive for streetcar. Yes, it was a negligible difference, but let's look at the negligible difference here. A 7-to-1 vote, a 3-to-4 vote. The 4 gets it. So I really think that this should be on the next meeting, and we should consider it and say, hey, let's move forward. Let's look at the engineering costs, and let's possibly repeal this and do it right with the streetcar. I thank you for your time, and I said we're negating history. Weber County Heritage Foundation was not consulted. They submitted the first time. UTA did not present to them. UTA even now just said the economic return and benefit is tremendous. That was not brought forward from the July 7th meeting. And so I think that those are the types of things. And then, as even in my email, the President's Commission on Sustainability talks about the aspects of every person having the input. So even if it was one more citizen, just as you know, with you being elected, one extra citizen got you into the office versus a tie. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Pate. Anyone else? This is public comment in general. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Cindy Bray, and this is my second time here. I'm here tonight with my husband, Stephen, and I'm back. We haven't had any changes since I was here in June. We are the people that live directly above the Pie Pizzeria at its new location. The only change really that's gone on is there's been a lot of money spent and a great deal of growth in that. There's 3 other businesses. There's an animal hospital and a Subway and an investment company. They've been spending a lot of money on the place, well over $1 million. So we're here to request that the City Council would consider urging the Planning Commission to revisit that decision to grandfather in that is not the same site that was grandfathered in. And we need the assistance of the city and a requirement of the developer is not building a barrier. He's not coming through, and as we had always read the regulations, it was provided there. So we're requesting that there be another look at that, because this is our home. There's been tremendous financial impact, let alone our street. We're representing all of our street, and we're requesting that the barrier go across the bottom of the street there. There's a great deal of open area and a big higher grounds, old building that we don't know what the plans are or what the developer plans to do in there. So he's not keeping his word on his own, and we need some assistance. Thank you.
Thank you. Is that something you'll follow up with, Jay? All right, we'll see if we can get that looked at for you. Thanks for bringing it up. Is there anyone else that wishes to speak to the council? Okay, then we will move back to our, pardon?
Comments, I mean, I'll just keep moving forward, or?
Yeah, we'll just,
okay.
Yeah. If we can get a motion to move into a closed executive session.
I'll make a motion we move into a closed executive session.
I have a motion by Councilmember Garner, seconded by Councilmember Blair to move into a closed executive session. This is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Garner?
Aye.
Councilmember Stevens?
Aye.
Councilmember Blair?
Aye.
Vice Chair White?
Aye.
Chair Heyer?
Aye. That passes. We will return for the remainder of the council agenda, as well as the redevelopment agency meeting that will follow right after that. Okay, well, welcome back. We're here to reconvene our July 28th, 2015 Ogden City Council meeting. And we are at item number 10, comments from our administration.
Yes, thanks, Chair. I actually do have something to say tonight. The administration would like to pay special tribute and thankfulness to the Ogden Pioneer Day Foundation and members of the staff of the Public Ways and Parks for a job well done on another fine rodeo that tends to set our community apart from most every other community in the fact that we have these wonderful traditions, and they help us to pull it off. So I just wanted to say thank you to them for that. And also I wanted to reiterate that the Washington Heights Church has been a very, very good partner for several departments in the city, and they've contributed thousands of hours over the years to make our community a better place. And I just want to give them a special acknowledgement above and beyond what you did for them tonight. So thank you.
Thank you. Council members, any comments?
I want to echo a little bit of what Jay said, but also thank to the city and Jay's team for the support of the rodeo and the parade. On the 24th of July, I don't think I've seen the rodeo more sold out than it was this year. But along with that comes some challenges. Parking and other things were a big challenge for our police force that evening, so thank you for them and for their patience. And also for all the support we have from the community and the medical team and everything that was there helping with the rodeo. I just want to express gratitude and thanks for all of them. And a few things we need to work on, though, on 17th and Washington is as that parking lot fills up, we need to let citizens know right there on Washington that, don't spend 45 minutes waiting to get up to be told that the parking lot's full. So just a suggestion that came from several citizens that I heard from.
Anyone else?
I want to thank the people that put their time into the parade as well. It's always at least it was fun for me this year with my dog, so that was fun. And I also want to put a shout out to the tour of Utah coming next week and down through Tremont and to here. So get out and take a look at all those bicyclers.
That's right. Any other comments?
It's nice to see that we have a transit project moving forward, but we still have a lot of work to do, so.
All right. Yeah, I'll just echo the same things. It's always fun to live in Ogden when Pioneer Days is going on. I had some relatives that came in and they just couldn't believe what a great event that just surrounds these few weeks in Ogden, and it just makes me proud to be from here, and seeing all the volunteer shirts and all the things, and all the good planning that goes into it, and appreciate the city staff that keeps it all running smoothly. You guys make it look easy, so thank you. All right, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Blair, seconded by Councilmember Garner to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, just as a reminder, there will be a special redevelopment agency meeting immediately following this one, and it will be followed by a city council work session, and the items that will be discussed are on the agendas.